This is DX Central Live. 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 This is DX Central Live.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys. It sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the Gulf South
To your corner of the world.
this is DX Central Live.
Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. Welcome. Good Saturday evening to you. Good Saturday night to you. Afternoon, wherever you might be. Glad to have you with us. Hopefully you had a great weekend so far and a fun Saturday. I spent some time out last night and tonight and the night before, I think, somewhere in there. It's all running together now. Doing some antenna work. We'll talk a bit about that tonight because we have some new antennas to play with, or a new antenna to play with. And, yeah, we're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to be finishing up our medium wave frequency challenge over on 550. So we're going to kind of put a close to that one as we usually do every week, put a close to the previous week that we're finishing up for the medium wave frequency challenge. And we're going to start a new one. And this week, I've got something super special for everybody. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. A whole lot different, actually, compared to what we usually do. So we'll talk about that coming up at the top of the next hour, close to the top of the next hour here, as we get close to 9 o'clock Eastern, or Central Time, rather. But for now, we're getting ready to dive into our usual live AMDX session. Tonight, we are fueled, actually, by a little rum and coke we made here. I went to the store looking for some good local stout beers. You guys know I like stouts, and I'm a big supporter of local brews wherever you might be. Couldn't find anything that I hadn't already tried that I was kind of feeling like would be good. So I decided to do a little rum and coke tonight. We have some Captain Morgan's Black spiced rum here. So cheers to you. Hopefully you guys are enjoying a good beverage, or at least some fun here. Mike thinks we're going to do the 9 kilohertz split. Not yet. I've got something in store for the out of U.S. folks to be looking at for the 9 kilohertz. So we'll be looking at that a little bit later on. But right now, for this week, for week 10, since it's the 10th week of the challenge, I thought we would do something a little bit different, a little bit fun. Mix it up a little bit. We'll see how it goes. So can't wait to show you guys that here in the next hour. But first, in this hour, we're going to be talking a bit about our new antenna that we just put up this week. We just put up a brand new CAS antenna. Now, as you guys probably remember, I have 2 CASs already up. We have a 22 by 70, both in the kind of northwest, southeast direction. It's sitting about 305 degrees on the northwest side. Was it 120? Yeah, 125 on the southeast. I have to have it over here on my monitor so I remember. And then we have perpendicular to that another 22 by 70 along the back fence line that runs 35 degrees and 215 degrees on the southwest side. So on the northeast side, it gets me into like Alabama and Georgia and things like that. On the southwest side, it's great for Mexico, great for Texas, really, really, really good at Mexico, actually. And then on the other one, the northwest, I get up into Oklahoma, I get up into Texas, Colorado, and then on the southeast, I get a little bit into the Caribbean. However, one of my favorite things, as you guys probably remember, to DX is Latin America, and it's neither one of those are super good at Latin America. It's decent on the southeast one, into like Colombia, maybe Venezuela, on the kind of northern end of South America, because that's kind of southeast from me, Cuba. But it's not super good into Central America and on that western coast of South America, which is one of my favorite places to DX. So this week I did some looking. I'm out of room in the backyard, have nowhere else to put anything because I have those 2 antennas. I've got an FM Yagi on the roof. I got a TV antenna in here for the local channels. I've got my big DX Commander quarter wave vertical that I use now, 6-band quarter wave vertical that I use for HF on ham radio bands, with my radial field spread out about 28 radials at about 15, 16 feet. So that is to say I'm kind of out of room in the backyard. So took it out in the front yard this week, and we put up I had a 16-foot telescopic fiberglass pole and put that in kind of the middle, right? That's where you're supposed to put it. Up against a tree, used a bungee cord around the tree to hold that pole up, and fed through my skywire, got all that up and everything, and it's about 53 feet long. So it's about a 16 by 53 foot long CAS. Not as long as the others, not as high as the others, but so far it's actually done really, really well. And it's at 330 degrees on the north side, which puts me dab smack into North and South Dakota, which I am desperately trying to get. And, excuse me, probably more important for me on my Latin American DX, it's at 150 degrees. Now, I chose that bearing because most of the DX that I want to do is somewhere between 140 and 160 degrees to get me into Central and South America. So I just kind of split the difference. 150 was right in the middle, so I can I can get on that western side of South America pretty well into like Peru and Ecuador, which are my favorites. Maybe hopefully Bolivia, but also can still get down. Excuse me, into Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, all those. But then still have a little bit of a shot at Colombia and Venezuela. So we're going to look at that tonight. I have been using my one of my variable resistor termination resistors. I dialed it in pretty well, but I went out tonight and I cannibalized one of my vactrols from my northeast southwest wire. I pulled that vactrol off, put it on the new antenna, and I put my variable resistor back over on the other one. And I've swapped my new CAS up to my Perseus. So what we're looking at tonight, this is going to be the Perseus with the 16 by 53 foot CAS. And then over here on the Elad tonight, we're running the two other CAS antennas, the northwest, or actually it's in the southeast configuration, and then the northeast wire as well. Those are going through the phaser. One of those has vactrol, one of those has a variable resistor, and then the other one tonight is vactrol control by itself going right into the back of the Perseus. So all that's to say, we're going to do a little experimenting tonight. We're going to see if we can really dial in some South Americans, some Latin Americans. We've been doing a little bit on 550 this week, this week for our medium wave frequency challenge. We'll see if we can continue that. Excuse me. Got a little tickle in my throat. And then we'll also still keep an eye on some of these other frequencies that I want to check out. 1090 here is one that I've been particularly interested in because right over in this area, right up in here, I'm looking for a trace of one of my favorite radio stations of all time, Radio Vision in Tumbes, Peru. So I'll be looking for those guys. So we'll talk all about that. We're going to do some fun with it. But you guys know what time it is now. It's going to be time for some live AMDX. This is brought to you by the National Radio Club. NationalRadioClub.org is the website you want to go to. It's also time for Bill's favorite time of the night, right? It's time for a top of the hour alert. We're within inside the 10-minute window here. So let's get started on some live AMDX. We're going to pop it down here to 550. And we're going to start off here on the Southern CAS. The brand new CAS, we're going to dial in with the vactrol a little bit, see if we can get into, we have a Colombian down here we've been hearing. I'd love to get the Venezuelan, and there's some others as well. So here we go. We got Mike in, we got Bill, Rick's in there, Tom's in, we got Chris, Troy, got the full crew tonight. Evening, everyone. All right, let's dial in this vactrol a little bit. So when I pull it out, I've got KTRS, KTSA. I want to see who this station is playing pop music here. It's probably more than likely. I guess. Yep, it is Rebeldi. So we've got Rebeldi in here already. It's been a fun week so far here on the 550 challenge. I've gotten 5 stations here so far, which has been nice. Including the Colombian, which was a nice surprise here. Radio Nacional de Colombia. This is what I've been chasing though, Radio Mundial in Caracas, Venezuela. I know it's been heard. Nothing out of them yet. Also been trying to see if we can get XEPL a bit. Kittner, if you heard that. Nope, not yet. We haven't heard the Mexican yet. So this is one that we would love to see. This XEPL out of Mexico would be nice. We do already have Rebeldi. We'd love to have Puerto Rico. That's not going to probably happen though. Mundial in Venezuela would be nice to add. And we've already got this station in Colombia. Other than that, it's a bunch of deep South American stuff, which we haven't been able to knock into just yet, but we're working on it. As always, let us know what you're hearing, what you've been hearing this week, what you're hearing now. Grab your radios, DX alongside with us. We'll be doing a little celebration for everybody here after the top of the hour for all the new stuff from this week, including some folks that logged some new ones on 550. So.
To be salty, to be sarcastic, this young female said, Chris, is this the year you think the Blues will finally win the cup?
Yeah, Tom, that's one K-Fire up there in North Dakota. That's one I've been obsessed in getting.
And because I'm sure he realized she was young and didn't know any better, he said, well,
all right, let's dial that in a little bit more.
And I always thought that anybody else that sort of, not that we would say that, he would have just obliterated us. Right. Because he was sick on the ice and splash here, and the same thing at the mic. So I'm really looking forward to this. We're going to talk to him later today. I'll be on tonight.
Yeah. Great ceremony of him raising the Raptors number 44. I've always liked him, and I love the fact that he sort of Pacific and propelled by the California Big Story. To evacuate between Cardinal and Big Story. Monterey County
So we started out that we had KTRS with a nice ID. I haven't heard Rebeldi yet with their little Rebeldi, which is how I remember them. I've actually not heard KCRS yet. Seen everybody talking about it this week, but it hasn't made it here into Louisiana yet, surprisingly. Let's go over here on 550 over on the Elad, which is not working right now. We'll figure that out. That's not coming on. Oh, because I'm in review mode. That's right. Not live. let's go to the northwest, southeast. Go to the southeast wire now. Over here on the Elad. Yeah, that would be nice to have in the logbook, wouldn't it, Mike? There is Rebeldy. This is the northeast wire. Then we're on the southeast wire here, so. So this actually shows some of the directionality. I have heard Cuba on the southern wire because, as you can see from the map here, due south still puts Cuba within the edge of the beam width here. So we had, top of the hour here, we had our ID from KTRS. We've heard from Rebeldy here. Let's see if they're still over here or if they're coming in yet on the southern wire. They were there for a minute. See if that station I'm hearing here now. Yep, that's Rebeldy. So for those who may be newer to the stream, what I'm doing here is I'm doing what's called a parallel. So we know for stations like Radio Rebeldy, Radio Relo, Radio Progreso, all these national networks in Cuba, they're on multiple frequencies. So what I can do is I can use one of the other known frequencies where I know they're coming in quite loud, and I can compare what I'm hearing there to what I'm hearing on the other frequency and see if it's the same station. So I believe on 550 I have Radio Rebeldy coming in, so then I go over to 1620 and I listen and I hear the same thing, where 1620 for me is a known frequency where they're going to be pretty loud because there's not a lot of other stuff on this frequency, and since the transmitter is on the northern coast of Cuba and the only thing between me and there is the Gulf of Mexico, I should have a pretty good signal looking at them, and I do. Okay, so now I can take that same audio and say, okay, am I hearing that on 550? And I know that I am. There's a lot of these that you can do that with. Cuba is one of those. They also have on Rebeldy 5025 kilohertz on shortwave. That's another one you can check if you can't find any of the other frequencies. Like let's say you've got a really weak copy on one of the frequencies like 600 or 1620 or whatever, and you want to compare, even if you can't hear any of the other outlets, you can always use 5025 shortwave as another option for you there if you have a shortwave capable receiver. Another one that you can do that with is Radio Progresso. Let me demonstrate that for you here. Here's 630 kilohertz. 640. There's 890. So 890 is one of the stronger progressos. Them and 640. Which I actually have something a little bit different here coming in, which is probably my station in Mexico because this is on the south wire. If I was to swap back over, let's go ahead and get out of top of the hour mode because we are officially out here. And green and blue. And let's go back to our Elad, FDMS3. And let's go to 640 here on the southeast wire. So there's Progresso. A little distorted sounding tonight. But I can also... Actually, that's not Progresso. That's 640 is probably down there by you, Mike. Are you hearing this on 640? Do I have them? I do not. It sure did, didn't it? Right? Let me go back to... That's Progresso. Oh, I'm on the wrong radio. That's what my problem is. Let me go back to 890.
Run the ball.
Okay, so Progresso is the classical music. We now know that. That means this other one doing kind of pop-sounding Spanish music. Mike, if you've got him down there, I'm assuming that's going to be this NQ. Or it could be this TAM Romantica, but I kind of doubt it. Probably this one here in Mexico, near Mexico City. So we kind of stumbled into this one, didn't we? Yep, that Ave Maria is Cuba. Let me temporarily swap back over really quick to the south wire. I should have that Mexican pretty strong there. Okay, so maybe not. Let me try the southwest side on the northeast southwest wire. Let me swap to that. So we should have that loud now. That's what I'm thinking, Mike. That kind of poppy sounding. That thing. Isn't it cool? That's a new one for us. I don't have a good location on that one. The listing I have just it doesn't have the city actually. Let me go back to medium wave list here. 640. Chingo de Bravo. Chingo de Bravo. Mexico. Sorry, let me get the audio back on here. You guys don't want to sit here and listen to me right. I'm doing too. XENQ. Toasty in this room, by the way. Bring a fan in here or something. That is a new one for me. Very cool. What the hell? So that's a new one for us. Let's go back to the Perseus now. So we've added in XENQ out of Mexico to the logbook tonight. That was nice to hear that NAQ ID. That was really nice to get that one in there. And then we heard KTRS at 550 on the top of the hour there. We also heard Rebellity in a little bit as well. And we've also, on 640, we paralleled that up with 890 to get Progresso. So we've heard a couple stations here so far. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to do some more live AMDX. We're going to talk a little bit more about this antenna that we just put up, the new 16 by 53 foot CAS, the north-south antenna, as we're calling it here. We'll talk a bit about that, and we'll get ready for our new frequency of the week. coming up here for week 10 of the medium wave frequency challenge. A new one for us and something a little bit different that we haven't done before. That's coming up as well this hour. So stay tuned. More DXC Live right after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor Member Bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live. Every Saturday night here on YouTube. It's youtube.com/C/DX Central. We're so happy to have you guys with us. As always, whether you're watching live with us now and joining us in the chat, we're having some great conversations in the chat. Or if you're watching this on a replay afterwards, we keep these up obviously on our YouTube channel so that you can watch them after the fact, because sometimes there's some good stuff to glean out of here. Hopefully there's a lot of good stuff to glean out of here that you can use outside of just the live session that we're doing. So whether you're watching live or not, we appreciate you being here. And as always, if you're liking the content that you see, I have some new videos on the way, by the way. We'll talk about that here in a second. If you're liking what you're seeing here and in any of our videos, be sure to give us a like and a comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon so we notify when new videos come up, because we do post a lot of videos. I have been posting a ton of air checks this week, so you'll have lots of those coming up here. Some of the stuff we've been hearing here in Mandeville. I posted my Alberta DX catch from Alberta back in October. I posted my catch of Nicaragua that I got this week down on 600. We'll talk about that here in a bit. So yeah, we have a lot of those. And also, like we said a few moments ago in the break there, twitter.com/DX Central. That is our Twitter handle. So make sure you follow us there. We post a lot of stuff there that we don't put anywhere else. You'll be notified when new videos are up. We post air checks there that we don't put up on YouTube. We talk about some of the things that we're doing in the shack or out in the antenna farm, whatever it might be. And as always, too, you can also make sure to check out our website, dxcentralonline.com. A lot of great information there for DXers of all skill sets, whether you're a brand new DXer just getting started or you're a seasoned veteran. We have a glossary of commonly used terminology, abbreviations. We have band scans, equipment reviews. We have tips and tricks, all kinds of stuff. So dxcentralonline.com. If you're a newbie, definitely click on the green beginner button there to get you started. And you can go to our DX 101 area where we talk about all things getting started in DX. So there's a sample logbook you can download so you can log your stuff. There are pre-prepared QSLs, pre-prepared reception report forms if you're sending out reception reports, all kinds of stuff. So definitely check this out, dxcentralonline.com. Let's talk a bit about the new antenna here. So we put up a new 16 by 53 footer for the CAS. We talked a bit about putting that together earlier at the beginning of the broadcast here. I'll be putting out a new video actually for that here soon. I've already shot the footage. I'm just working on the editing now. And so it's going to be kind of a follow-up to our original CAS video, which you can find here on the YouTube channel under the DX 101 playlist, where we put up a 22 by 70 when we were living in Charleston. We did 2 of those in Charleston. So this new version of the CAS, of the 16 by 53, I wanted to put up for a couple of reasons. One, a lot of people think that in order to have a CAS, you have to have like, at least 70 feet. And they're like, I don't have 70 feet. I got like 50 feet. 50 feet is perfect. They're not perfect, but it's going to do you really well. It's going to be enough for you to put up an antenna. My first CAS that I used to listen into Ecuador, Peru, Puerto Rico, all kinds of stuff, into Europe. My first CAS was a 12 by 48. So you can go down, I probably wouldn't go much less than about 40 feet for a CAS. If it's much less than that, you might want to try a flag. But yeah, I put this new one up this week just to kind of show that a smaller CAS still works. So we'll be working on putting that video up. We also have an article coming out, a little preview for you, in this month's, the February edition of the Spectrum Monitor, about the CAS antenna and talking about building a CAS antenna. So you'll have a written piece that will be coming out here in February with the Spectrum Monitor that I put out and wrote for Ken. And when we have a new video coming up here soon, we'll probably play it next week during our live stream, or parts of it at least, talking about building out the new 16 by 53. I also included in there some tips on how to kind of identify where you want to put your CAS and how you want to kind of lay it out, working with the little wire clamps, working with the banana plugs. Showed some things up close that I didn't do in the first video. It's kind of a tip kind of feel. So make sure you stay tuned for that and subscribe to the channel to be notified when that video comes out. I also have a walkthrough of the new workshop here in Mandeville as well that I shot today, so be working on that as well. Let me go over to the chat because I know we had some questions here from some folks. Carl wants to know if we ever heard any stations in Mexico on AM when I was in South Carolina. Hadn't logged any in East Tennessee yet. So absolutely, Carl, we did hear some good stuff. And let me actually show you here. Let me pull up my Charleston logbook really quick. So this is my Charleston logbook, my database that I had from Charleston. And let me just go ahead and sort it here by country, or just show just the Mexican stations, I guess. It wasn't a ton. It definitely wasn't as much as I've heard here. You'll see here we had, what, about 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Some of the ones I would definitely recommend that you try those. 730. I know you've got a station there in Tennessee, East Tennessee. You actually have, no, you have one. You have WLIL there in Lenore City, right? But this one here, though, if you can null them out, XEX and Distrito Federal, they're a good one. 1,000 kilohertz is probably the biggest one that I know. It's XEOY Radio 1000 in Mexico City. XEG on 1050 is another good one out of Monterey. 540 can be a good one, XEWA, although I didn't hear them in Charleston. I know they do get out fairly well, but they can be worth a shot. Another one that I probably should have tried for and I didn't when I was down there was 1060. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, I think 1060 is still a station down there in Mexico. But 1000, 1050, 730, those are probably the 3 that I would start with. Yep, that's kind of how I would go. So those three are probably the ones I would start with: 730, 1000, and 1050. And Mike, if you have any other suggestions or anybody else that has any suggestions of Mexican stations that you hear, feel free to add those in the chat as well. But for folks who are looking to add Mexico, because outside of where I am, like, you know, people here in the Gulf South or in the southern United States, kind of along the near the coastline, Mexico is actually pretty tough. In Charleston, they were a tough one. I didn't get them early on in my Charleston years. Radio Education, that's what it was, Mexico City 1060. Yeah, that's another one I used to remember hearing quite a bit. But yeah, Mexico is not super easy to hear outside of kind of a certain geographical area. The further you get away from Texas and the Gulf Coast, the harder they are to hear, unless you're over on the West Coast and you got all that stuff down in, kind of the Bali, California area. I know over there, Charles, you get quite a bit over that way. So for everybody else, that's a good one. Oh, yeah, you bring up a really good one, Mike. XCRF 1570 has traditionally been a good one. I didn't hear them in Charleston, but that's a good one for you to try as well. 1570, XERF, and is it Juarez? Or is that Ciudad Acuña? I can't remember which one it is. I always get those confused. But that's another good one to try for. So if you're looking for Mexico, definitely start with 1000 kilohertz XEOY. 730 is another really good one, even though I know, Carl, you have that one there in Lenore City to kind of deal with in 730. So, and XCWA on 540 is another one that can get out pretty well, although I didn't hear them in Charleston. I did hear them when I was in Brasstown, North Carolina, which is probably a little bit better comparison to where you are there in Tennessee. So, all right. So let's get back to the DX here. I know there was a couple of other, you guys are talking about the Mexican stations now. Love that. Love comparing notes here. Dennis, I know you had asked a question. I meant to answer the question for you on social media, and I just hadn't had a chance to today with my antenna work I was doing. But Dennis, you asked a question about, I had posted about when I put up the new CAS, about seeing a faint trace of 1090 Radio Vision in Tumbes, Peru. When I put up the antenna, you wanted to know kind of how I knew that, how that works. So let me show you here. This is something that I have in my Jaguar software, but I can also do it in my SDR Console software if I want to do that. I'll kind of show you that here in a second as well. But if I go, let me go up here to 1090. And I'm going to go to my Spectra so we can actually see the waterfall. Okay. So with this particular program, a Jaguar, it's kind of built to look deeply at what's called these offsets. Offsets, for those of you who are not familiar, are the actual carrier traces on the waterfall, the actual carrier signal from the station. As they talk, you'll see things kind of coming off of the carrier, with the programming content, depending on how loud they are, you'll see that kind of spread out from that center carrier frequency. But that center carrier frequency is what's kind of showing this is what frequency they're on. And even though it might say 1040 or 870 or whatever it might be, not every station is dead on to that frequency. They have what's called offsets, where you can sometimes see them a little bit off frequency. Like if it's supposed to be 880, let's say, maybe they're at 880.4 or down at 879.6 or something like that. Some of the ones that are super easy to help you identify are those that are like way off. Like we know about the one in Eatonton, Georgia on 1540 that's like way off and causing, interference even with stations like KXEL in Waterloo, Iowa. And other frequencies, you'll also see things like there's one, I forget where it was, in Virginia, 1440, or one of those frequencies. There's a station in Virginia, in Blackstone, I think, Virginia, that's at like 1439.4 or 0.2 or something. It's way off frequency. It's like way, way off. Well, when I talk about Radio Vision, and you can actually see them, actually that's not them, they would be over here at 976. Radio Vision has an offset, and their offset is a known, it's right around 1089.976. That's where they're reported, 978-ish is where they're reported, and that's where I heard them when I was in Charleston. So I'm looking for them on my waterfall here. Now, I do have a couple of faint ones here. There's one at 1089.98. Here's another one at 1089.982. Here's one at 1090.0276. We also have one up here around 1090.4 that's usually here. These two up here are usually Colombians. You'll also see them spiking here on the waterfall. And then if I go to my Elad FDMS3 and I'm over here in SDR Console, I can do the exact same thing. So let me go to here to 1090. The key you'll want to make sure if you're doing this in SDR Console, I'll show you how you have to do your settings. Let me go back and recenter. You'll want to take this little slider right here down at the bottom. You want to make sure it's centered right there at 1090, that you've hit this button to center your frequency, and then you can kind of zoom in. And that's where you're going to really start to get tight on that carrier frequency. And I would expect to see Radio Vision over here in that 9798 region. And then again, I have my Colombians over here because these are just kind of what I've known by DXing these frequencies. If you go over here to view and go to speed, you want your speed to be slow. If it's really fast, like let me just do a 30 here. You see what happens to my resolution? I don't see those individual carrier lines as easily because it's more about the modulation I'm getting there. It's not so much about that individual carrier. But if I slow it way down, it's going to tighten in, and you'll actually see the individual carriers here. Okay. And also, I think it's down here. I have to do an ×2. Let me get my Bandicam out of the way. ×2 down here. I think that's my my magnification or something like that. I can't remember which setting that is. But this needs to be X2. Speed needs to be slow. I usually keep it around 1 or 2. And with that, I can see these individual carrier lines. A lot of other programs have this as well. I think SDR Uno does that. I know, what's the other one? SDR Sharp, I think you can get pretty tight in there as well. SDR Console is probably the easiest one to do. So if you're wanting to see those offsets, you can actually pull them up. Let me pull up my internet here. And I go to mediumwavelist.org. What you'll want to do is you'll want to search for what's called Medium Wave List Quick and Easy. They have them for North America, Central America, Caribbean, South America, Asian Pacific, Europe, Africa, Middle East. They haven't broken up into regions like this. And so if you go into, let's say I'm on 640 here. Actually, let me go to 1090. I'm going to go to 1090, and I'm going to go to South America to show you my example here. And right here where it says 1090 kilohertz, next to that you have an offset link. If I click on my offsets, it's going to show me all the reported and known offsets on this frequency. This case, it's not just that one region, it's all of it. And there at the top, you'll see Radio Vision here in Tumbes. Range, if it's a range of being reported, like it's between these numbers, it'll tell you that. The exact or the most commonly reported one is right here as well. So they're usually right around 1089, 978, although I have seen them as low as 976. That's where I used to see them, actually. Is it helpful? It can be very helpful if you're looking at like ones that are kind of off frequency a bit. Like that one, the one on 1510. If I go here to 1510 and I go to my offset list, this is another good example. Radio Monumental. They're at 1509.9865-ish, right? Which is really easy to hear, easier to hear them because you have, in many cases in the Southeast, you've got WLAC in Nashville kind of clearing everything out. And so underneath them, you can usually hear kind of Spanish music underneath or this Ecuadorian music underneath. And then if you have a tight in view on the offsets, you can actually see it. And then with nulling and lower sideband and things like that, you can get away from the WLAC signal usually enough to be able to pick out that station. So things like that where it's way off frequency or separated out a bit, it can be helpful. It's not as helpful, although it can help a little bit. But if you're looking at like this little group right here, right, all centered around the same frequency, this might not be as helpful. Although I can tighten in here just a bit. But yeah, there's not much I can really do with that. This one maybe over here around 9935, if I had one that I know was right around there, that could be them. It's not a guarantee necessarily, especially the closer you get to the carrier frequency. It's not a guarantee, but it can be helpful at least in narrowing down your list and kind of knowing what to look for. So that's offsets explained. Hope that helped. Another thing that you'll see sometimes is these things drift, which is why sometimes you'll see a range for offsets. It's not just one offset frequency. It kind of ranges between some. You'll actually see them drift. And over time, you'll see like WWL has done this in the past. I've actually noticed them kind of drift off frequency and then come back to the center frequency. Temperature of their transmitter and also my Perseus. The temperature of my receiving equipment can affect the accuracy, things like that. All right, let's get back to some live DX here. We're going to just start out on the Perseus here. And let's look at 1090 here. I'm on my southern wire. I'm trying to get rid of KAAY to my north in Little Rock, Arkansas, because they're a pest for me here. And I want to see if I can get some of these stations. Now, one thing I can do, I can go over here and actually dial up on my carrier frequency. Like, let's say I want to try for this one here at 1090.0272, which, if I go to my list that I have here built into my Jaguar software, is probably blue in Cartagena, because they're reported around 1090.018. So I'm within kind of a degree of accuracy there of being probable that it's them. If I throw my sideband into upper sideband, it'll help me a little bit with getting rid of any interference from 1090. So let's see what we hear. Don't forget to get your 550 logs in. I'll put the link for the Google form here in the chat. We are about 10-15 minutes from closing that one out. So make sure you get your logs in. Now, I will tell you, I'm hearing a very passionate preacher in there in Spanish. I'm not sure if you guys are hearing that. That is a good and good sign. I'll say that because that is the format I've heard the most out of TuneBed. So let's see what they're running right now on their live stream. They have a fantastic live stream, which I'll link here in the chat as well. Here's their live stream, so you can pull it up on your side as well if you want to. Let's see what they're doing, though. That voice, the male voice that you hear, it's always him. It's like his church's station. And their stream is usually pretty much in sync with the lot with which you're on air, so it should be pretty close. Okay, so now we know what we're listening for. What do we have on air? Oh man, I think he's in there, guys. The Gloria, that's his thing. You'll hear that all the time here. The other thing he usually has is he'll have people from the congregation come up to the stage. I've actually watched videos on YouTube. They come up to the stage and he sits there and he talks to them and stuff like that. So that's what you heard here a few moments ago with that female voice in there. I've been obsessed with this station since the first time I heard it. Ooh, it's warm in here. You'll also hear, if I come over here, you'll really hear it. Okay, so that's KAAY in Little Rock over on the SDR, the Elad. I think we might have had him for a minute. $17.20, huh? We got Kilocat 7 has got a pirate on $17.20, blowing his doors off. So let's go see if we have anything like that here. Let's swap over to the Elad. We've got a strong carrier. Have audio. So Killacat, where are you at? West Michigan, nice. Oh, he's getting stronger. So there's a pirate for you all on 1720. Being heard in West Michigan, super loud. And in southeast Louisiana, decently. Yes, it is, Rick. Black Crows are going to be here in New Orleans for Jazz Fest this spring. Can't wait to see that show. Very nice. Very nice. Undercover radio hasn't been heard here in years. Awesome. We'll have to see if we can grab an ID off of them for an air check here. Because I'd like to add a pirate section, pirate playlist to the YouTube channel here. All right, so let's talk about week 10 of the medium wave frequency challenge. So far, what have we done in our medium wave frequency challenge? We focused a lot on regionals like 1320 and 910 and 1250, 1460. There you go. I'll get it down in a second. We also did a graveyarder on 1240. This week we did one that was a little more different on 550, right? Where we have less stations there, but you guys have been pouring the logs in. I'm very happy to see that. Been very surprised at just how much is being heard out there. So awesome week this week on 550. And I still am chasing down my local potential pirate that I have here on 550 during the daytime. I've been doing some driving around trying to kind of zero beat him, but it's been hard to kind of narrow it down. I'll keep on it. I'll keep you guys posted on that. It's been a fun one. But this week I thought, let's do something a little different. Let's not just do what we've been doing, where we say, okay, here we go. Here's 550, go DX. I mean, that's a great concept, and it's born out of what we did last year on 1560 when WFME in New York went off the air, and we all kind of DX'd at the same time, and we're all comparing notes of, oh, this is what they sound like, and here's what I'm hearing over here, and here's what I'm hearing over here. But I wanted to do something a little bit different this week. Something a little challenging, but at the same time, I think could be a fun experiment. So this week, for week 10, and let me go ahead and get my link ready here. Would love to see what you guys think the frequency is going to be, so drop it in the chat if you have a chance. So we're gonna announce it here in a second. Let me get my link ready. For week 10, I thought we need to do something a little bit different. So we're gonna drop that here in a second. We're gonna come in here and get ready for our top of the hour as well, our top of the hour alert. But let me know in the chat what frequency you think we're gonna be doing here for week 10. I'm interested to see what you guys think. 146.52. You know, that was my old local ham repeater when I was in Charleston, actually. That was our 2-meter repeater, was on 146.52. Or was it 9.7? One of the two. Anywho, we're going to announce it here in a second. We're going to take a quick break because I need to let some cool air in the room because it is toasty in here. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to announce our new frequency, and then we're going to get ready for a top-of-the-hour alert. So get ready, my friends. Quick break. Not a long one. Quick break here as we get ready for the announcement of our week 10. So take care real quick of some stretches, and then we'll get started.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
From the pages of its DX Monitor member bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AM/DX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border.
Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teak Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teakpublishing.com for more information. That's teakpublishing.com. Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana. Glad to have you guys with us, as always, here on a Saturday night. And we're getting ready to talk about our Week 10 of the Medium Wave Frequency Challenge. And what we're going to do with it here. So you guys are guessing 1110. I see an 850 in there as well. Interesting ones, right? I've talked a little bit about doing a clear channel challenge one week and maybe trying that out and seeing how it goes. But we'll get to that. This week, something a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and get my link copied here. Hit copy. For this week, on the Medium Wave Frequency Challenge, we're going to the expanded band. All of it. The whole damn thing. 1610 to 1710. Anything that's licensed in there. TIS, a regular radio station, anything that you log that's like a licensed station counts. So if you've got some TISs you can hear, I got one on 1700 just up the road. 1700 is a TIS, that counts, right? But it has to be something licensed to either U.S. or, foreign country. So like Rebellion on 1620 would count, right? Radio Elohim in El Salvador counts. So anything like that, anything that's an actual station or a TIS station in the U.S. is good to go. 1650, that little non-directional beacon, TVS that we don't really know where it's at, doesn't count, right? That's not going to be one that we can log. But 1610 to 1710, anything you want, as much as you can get, fill it up with the expanded band. So we're going to go ahead and hit our log link there for our Google form. And it's time to go red, boys and girls. And let's go ahead and get ourselves started here. I'm just going to just randomly pick, why not, 1660. How about that? Let's start on 1660 for now. Split the difference here. We've got some different stuff here. We don't have anything really in South America. We've got a Puerto Rican, WGIT. We've got Waco, Texas. We've got CNZ in Marco Island, Florida. Let's see what we get here on 1660. And yes, Troy, that one does count too. That New Jersey TIS does count as well. But the Pirate on 1720, unfortunately. You know I am, Mike. I'm going after it. I'm going to add a Dakota to this logbook. Since I couldn't get South Dakota, I'm going after a damn Dakota this week. So if you're sitting next to a frequency like 1630 or 40 or whatever, and you're right next to it, you can still work around it. You got some wiggle room this week. Should be our biggest week ever. We should have more logs this week than ever. I did add a field on the form for frequency, so make sure you log that. But I only left it to the choices that we have.
Now, this is according to the security, Crimson Security. They're saying this. After uploading images of your driver's license or your state issued ID or your passport, documented photos at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Get your tickets now at probowl.com. Keep it fun, you'll have and go to Junior. And so I have lost faith in that team's ability to hold them accountable. Check out Campy and Golic Jr. weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN Plus. From the Allen Evans Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studio, this is KRCI Waco, K222DC Waco, K265DV Central, ESPN Central Texas. I'm about to start hour 2. I'd like to have Monday hang up.
So that's 2 stations we've heard here already. We got CNZ, Marco Island, and we've got RZI in Waco on 1660, just by itself. And Marco Island's a new one for us. All right.
Los Angeles Archbishop Jose Gomez held Mass Sunday of last weekend in celebration of the feast of the Santo Niño de Cebu. The third Sunday in January is the feast of Santo Niño. Santo Niño de Cebu is a Roman Catholic title of the child Jesus associated with a religious image of Christ child and is the oldest Christian artifact in the Philippines. It was a gift from explorer Ferdinand Magellan for the Christian baptism of the area's native king in 1521. Keeping you connected with the church and the world 24 hours a day and on the web at relevantradio.com. I'm Glenn Reverend.
New catch is for me, WCNZ, Marco Island, Florida. Last heard in Charleston.
Ave Maria, Latin for Hail Mary, recalls the angel Gabriel's announcement to Mary of her future vocation, becoming the mother of God. Enriched by God's grace, Mary freely assents to this call. This is the model for
Yeah, that's in the medium waveless log.
where we offer a liberal arts curriculum
Sports is also on KWOD in Kansas City, Kansas. Their Fox Sports Radio, The Score is their slogan.
He said after the game, they did a really good job of when something wasn't working, they moved to something else, and they really kept him on his toes, and I think that was a big challenge.
All right, so now we've got our two here so far on 1660 over here on the Perseus. Let's go down to the Elad FDM S3 and see what we have on our northeast and our southwest cases. I'm sorry, our northeast southeast cases. That's a better way to put it. Northeast southeast.
A lot of criticism around that pick, and then yet here we are, the first player in NFL history to make 4 Super Bowls in multiple games in a single postseason. What is it?
This is my southeast. Here's the northeast. Oh, I cannot wait this week, Rick, to do some Sunrise Expanded Band. I haven't really done anything like that yet, so this is going to be a fun one. I'm pretty sure that the music I have in here is from WTOU in Kalamazoo. Which would be our third one so far, if we verify that. I want to say that preaching sounding is probably Puerto Rico. Let's check.
Jesus, the word Jesus, as we say it in English, is just an anglicization of the name that Jesus has, which is, something along the lines of Yeshua. And that is why it's very closely a very similar name to Joshua, as we would render it into English. So it's just an English version of that actual name that Jesus has. Jesus' name is not Yahweh. Yahweh is a modern twist on ancient original. And literally, we can see in Exodus chapter 3.
Yep. It's Puerto Rico. So that's 4 now that we've got probably here. So we've got this kind of echoey, preachy Spanish sound. That's Puerto Rico on the southeast wire. Hey, Tim. Over here on the northeast wire, I've got Black Gospel. That's Kalamazoo, I believe, once Bill confirms. It can, especially here on the East Coast, it's unless you're like along the Atlantic coast, Florida kind of area, or up in the Northeast, it's probably the best shot at Puerto Rico. So that Will Smith in there, Summertime. Bill, if you're hearing that up in Michigan. Dennis, no, these are the Wellbrook FLG 100 LNs. As far as I know, Mike, all these are 1K at night. But there's nothing here, right? There's so few stations. 1 kilowatt gets out. I mean, I've heard Californians from here on 1 kilowatt, but there's nothing else there. So, it's like the old days of DX back in the 30s and 40s when there was less congestion, 50s even. Oh my God!
The Piggy Barbecue in West Fargo is the area's #1 spot for legendary barbecue. Smoked daily using the freshest and highest quality meat and ingredients. Come in and enjoy the best ribs, brisket, and pulled pork in North Dakota. The Piggy Barbecue also showcases a full bar with the state's largest bourbon selection. Try our new menu introducing wings and fish, stunning burgers, and event catering. Call for Chris at 701-545-5557. The Piggy Barbecue.
Yes!
With that chip on their shoulder, and they had something to prove, and they've definitely played like that throughout the season.
Ben, let's go to the O-line for a second, because you mentioned there obviously the woes on the O-line, but also some of the mistakes that Burrow made that contributed to those sacks. They have one
Son of a gun.
around before they face either the Bills or the Chiefs. Are there things that they can tangibly do that realistically in just 1 week's time to improve that situation for the Burrow better?
Guys, that's a new lifetime. I have never heard North Dakota ever on AM radio in almost 30 years. I heard South Dakota once. That's my first North Dakota on AM. Son of a bitch. I can't even remember the damn Good night, Carl. Take care, my friend. That was number 399 here in Charleston. I can't believe I just did that. Oh shit, I need to make sure I have this recorded. Oh, it was on. It wasn't on the Perseus. That's more than just a new state dance, Mike. That's a dragon slay dance right there. That's what that is. Last time I was this excited is when I finally heard Delaware for the first time after chasing them for a very long time. But this feels bigger. This feels much, much bigger. Oh my damn. Yeah, Billy, you're right. That's gonna need a minute here. I was just thinking the other day how difficult that was going to be to do.
a little paper and they link it. That's how it's
Number 399 from Mandeville. We've still got Puerto Rico in there. We've still got let's see that's number 34 in Mandeville. It's a bit higher, obviously lifetime. That's gonna, I'll have to go back and recheck my numbers on my lifetime, but that's 34 now in Mandeville. Oh my God.
And yet one by one they all wound up and they tell the stories in the first person in this book. And
hey Earl.
when it comes to people, now full disclosure, I edited that book long ago.
You missed my happy dance, Earl. All right. So let's talk about where we. Let me gather myself for a second. Montana, yeah, I got them during the DX test. Wyoming, I'm still working on 1630. I'm hoping this week to be able to scratch that one off the list. All right, so let's recap for a second here. All right, so I know Earl just joined, and for anyone else who's just recently joined, I'm now closing out our medium wave frequency challenge of the week for 550 from week 9. That is now closing out. Let me go over here and load that up. We finished at 76. Nice. 76 logs for the week. On 550, I will take that all day. For week 10, though, we're doing something very, very special. I'm going to go ahead and get the link ready again here to post in the chat. We're doing the entire expanded band from 1610 all the way up to 1710. So we're doing that entire area. And we're doing anything that's a licensed station. That includes TIS stations. So if you have a TIS in your area or you're picking up TISs, those count. Obviously, our regular broadcast stations count. All the licensed international stuff like Radio Elohim in El Salvador, Puerto Rico, WGIT over here, Rebeldy on 1620, all of it counts. Pirates don't count. So if you have like a pirate station in here somewhere, doesn't count. NDBs don't count. It's got to be a broadcast station or a TIS station that are licensed, non-pirate. Those all count. Anything between 1610 and 1710. The New Jersey TIS station, yes, Earl, that counts on 1710. So everything in there counts. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what we can pick up this week. Just on 1660, just now, for our top of the hour alert here, just in that little brief time that we were doing our top of the hour alert stuff. Let me gather myself and go camera here. Full screen. So we heard 5 stations. On 1660 by itself, we had WCNZ in Marco Island, which was a new one for us. We had, well, at least 4, maybe 5. We had KRVI in Waco, Texas coming in. We had WGIT in Puerto Rico coming in. We possibly had WTOU in Kalamazoo, Michigan coming in. And yeah, we did. We got it. We finally did it. After a lifetime of chasing after these people. I finally got North Dakota in the logbook. I've been chasing them my entire DX career, so we can finally say we have a North Dakota in the log. So just put the link to the Google form over here in the chat so you guys have a chance to start uploading your logs now. So hopefully you guys can get a lot of this as well. I know there's a Californian over in KBRE up in kind of the center of the state there to go shoot for. Where is that? Is that Sacramento? Merced. So that's there. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. And again, 1610 all the way up to 1710 and anything in between. Let's take a quick break because I need to kind of replenish my drink and kind of recuperate from that one getting North Dakota. And then when we come back, we'll do a little bit more DX up here at the top of the hour, and we'll wrap stuff up. But we're going to prowl around here on the expanded band a bit. We're going to look and see what we caught at the top of the hour here on Jaguar, and we're just going to prowl around a little bit. So stay tuned. More DX Central. I'm still recuperating, guys. More DX Central is on your way. DX Central Live, rather, is right here on your way on our YouTube weekly DX Central Live broadcast. Take care. 1 second.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com. DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
From the pages of its DX Monitor member bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teak Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teakpublishing.com for more information. That's teakpublishing.com. Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News member bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
kind of
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
Welcome back to DX Central Live. Had to go get a refresh of the old beverage here, a little celebratory beverage. Had to cool off for a second, step outside in the cool air. What a night, guys. This has been a really great night already. And not even just because of North Dakota. I mean, we've been having a good time here on the live DX. We've caught several on 1660 other than North Dakota. I know some of you guys are hearing some stuff. I'm looking at the chat. Looks like you guys are hearing some good stuff out of 1630 or 1610 rather, and so forth. Dennis is getting WWRU on 1660, which is awesome. We are hearing 1720. We're hearing a pirate station. Doesn't count for the challenge this week, but it's fun to talk about, and I want to get an ID out of them because I want to add a pirate playlist if I can to our YouTube channel. So let's go over here. I know you guys are looking at 1610 right now at CHHA up in Canada, so let's see if we can tune them in as well. I'm going to do this we have two antennas or two systems working tonight as usual, but a little bit different setup. So on the Perseus, instead of two casts, we just have the one, our new north-south cast, 330 degrees, 150 degrees, which right now it's pointing at 150 down into Central South America. And we have that on the vactrol here to be able to kind of tune it in. On the Elad FDMS3, over here, we are running our usual other two casts, our northwest, southeast, and northeast, southwest casts, and we're running those through the, one of them through a vactrol, one of them on a variable resistor, running those through the phaser into the Elad, so we're doing that there. That's the one that we use to hear on the northwest wire to get up into North Dakota. So happy about that. So we're going to do our live AMDX session. This hour of live AMDX is brought to you by... So folks, actually, that's last hour. This hour we're doing the International Radio Club of America, IRCAonline.org. I'll get it right here in a second, guys. I'm still recuperating from that logging on 1660. I'm serious. I've been chasing North Dakota for almost 30 years. I have a potential of doing a business trip in April into the upper Midwest, and I was going to bring I'm still bringing, but I'm going to bring my portable stuff with me. And I was like, well, at least maybe I can get some North Dakota, South Dakota stuff to put up on the channel, some air checks to put up there. It won't count for my logs, my lifetime stuff, because it's not a home address or whatever, but maybe at least I can do that. But now we got that crossed off the list here in Louisiana. So pretty happy about that. Let's pull up here. We're going to go start off on 1610 and see if we can hear Toronto. This is on the north-south wire. Have a little bit of something in there, so we're going to switch it over now to the Elad FDMS3 and our northeast-southwest wires. There they are. And I need to go probably lower sideband here. Look at all those carriers I'm seeing on 1610 here, by the way. Look at all those. There's a lot there. Earl wants to know if we're hearing undercover radio. Yes, we are. At least we were earlier. Northeast. Northeast. Likely. They were much stronger earlier, though. They're not as strong now. Nothing on the northwest or southeast wire at all. Not hearing them at all northwest, southeast. Got them decent on the northeast, southwest wire, though. Predominantly northeast. So yep, they are there. Here on the northeast wire, we have Toronto coming in nicely. Putting in the chat now the link for the Google form for our expanded band frequency challenge of the week. Again, everything from 1610 to 1710 counts. That includes regular broadcast stations as well as TIS stations. Anything in that counts. There's Toronto on 1610 coming in quite nicely. Southeast wire. Man, remember the days when Anguilla was here, the Caribbean Beacon, Dr. Scott? That's really all I've got here is Ontario. I do see some carriers, though. There are quite a few carriers here, especially on the northeast side, which tells me there are some TIS stations here that I can possibly be tracking down, with the main one here in the middle being our Ontario station. But you can see there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other ones, maybe 9 in here on this waterfall display. Are 9 other potential stations. Maybe those are TISs, which could be nice to track some of those down. One of my favorite things to DX. Love DXing TIS stations. Of course, here where I am,
as close as you can.
This is my local TIS.
5. Have all passengers exit and stand on the curb to the
This
rear
is the
of the
Causeway
vehicle.
TIS here in Mandeville.
It puts you out of the crash zone if your vehicle is rear-ended. 6. Contact the Causeway Police by calling
We just uploaded the air check for this one earlier
That's 27
this week.
on the number pad, or 504-835-3116.
All right, let's go back over to
7.
the Perseus
While on the
now
curb
and see what we can get on some of these other frequencies. On 1610, we have, it looks like, what, 3 carriers now? One kind of one strong one, which is probably the Ontario, but it's not audible very well. And then one kind of another one in here. So nothing really dominant here on the north-south wire. Although Ontario is there, especially when I back off the resistance a little bit to allow that north side to come through. Let's look at 1620. Rebellion is going to be our dominant one here in Louisiana, especially on the south wire. But we've also got Gulf Breeze, Florida, here as well, WNRP, and WTAW over in College Station, Texas A&M. That's also an option for us here on 1620. I think we've also gotten... Nope, maybe not. Oh yeah, we did get... So far on 1620, all I've received is Rebellion, WTAW out of College Station, and Gulf Breeze, Florida. That's what I've gotten on this freak so far. hoping to be able to hear KOZN here in Bellevue. That'd be nice. Is that the one that's close to you, Rick? There's an A&M broadcast. That's the BTA Davis College Station. Now we've got that resistance dialed in here on Rebeldy. Let's look at 1630 to see what we can expect this week here. Oh, really, Mike? So XENQ, was that from Hidalgo? I think I've gotten Hidalgo before, I think. I'll have to double check and see. I need to do better at tracking my Mexican states, if I'm going to be honest. I haven't done a great job of that.
Democrats assessing back in November. Democrats noted that their suspension of in-person events and door-to-door campaigning did hurt them at the ballot box.
Rick's got a tip for everybody. If you're doing some listening on 1620 this week, look at the Crichton Blue Jays. It's a university basketball team. Look for Crichton. Or Creighton? Is it Creighton or Crichton? You can't tell me in the chat, can you? Is it Cray or Cry? There we go. That's a good way of saying it. They are the only station that carries the Blue Jay basketball broadcasts. So if you have any 1620 broadcast of a Blue Jay basketball game, you've got Bellevue, Nebraska. There you go. So that's what we're looking at there. All right, 1630. I'll have to check that, Mike, and see what I've got there. Pull up my map. On 1630, our main two that we've gotten here so far is KCJJ in Iowa City. Obviously, that's the big one here. A lot of people get that. And KKGM in Fort Worth, which is BIN, Black Information Network. So you'll have them coming in as well out of Texas. Those are the main two as far as the majority of the country. Now, I know out west, you guys have XEUT here out of Tijuana. In Mexico, you've also potentially got KVAM in Cheyenne, Wyoming, which is one that I'm now chasing. It's on my list. We also have a large portion of people hearing Radio Elohim here in San Salvador, El Salvador. That is a pretty easy one to spot, and we're going to check it now and see if we can try to hear them here. The reason they're easy to spot is because of the content. It's fiery, fiery, fiery preaching in Spanish. So if you hear a guy just absolutely kind of screaming in Spanish preaching, then you got Radio Elohim. Although I haven't heard these guys in a while. I did hear them back in like October time frame, but it's been a while. Then again, I don't check 1630 that often, so that's the whole reason for the exercise that we're doing right now. Here's what I've got so far. Show you guys. Go here. Oops, wrong direction. Let me do 1, 2 clicks. Here is everything that I have heard so far. Expanded band from Mandeville. This is since October 1st. That's what I have here. That's what. Let me get. I can't tell what that would be, because maybe that needs to move. Nope. I'll have to count it up. Hell, I'll just do it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 27 so far since October here in Mandeville. That's what we've heard so far. So not too bad. not too bad. We're going to add to it this week. Then. There's KCJJ in there. Use the vactrol here to dial in. Wyoming is what's their format now? Is it country now? Or are they still doing the Mexican? I heard him when I was in Charleston and also when I was in Greenville, but I haven't heard him since. Hey Mike, they're showing off for us tonight because they know they got an audience. Oh, the Augusta station? Yeah, I think they actually surrendered their license. I heard a rumor they did. Let me swap back over to our Elad FDMS3 and the CAS combo here.
Make it. Stop in the right lane.
And we're going to go back down to 1630 over here as well. On the northwest wire.
Thanks for being with us, Solana. Follow at We Are Golden on Instagram to learn more about McDonald's commitment to HBCUs.
That's good one.
Here's the latest from the Black Information Network.
That's Dallas Fort Worth.
Meeting with his national security team at Camp David in Maryland amid rising tensions with Russia over Ukraine. The meetings come as the U.S. Embassy in Kiev announced the arrival today of part of the $200 million.
So now we've heard KGGM, we've heard KCJJ here.
The 49th anniversary of Roe versus Wade is this weekend.
There's KCJJ coming in, the Tom Petty.
Legalization of abortion in the U.S. Speaking to reporters Friday, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said a woman.
Network of praise for Wyoming, apparently. Okay, good.
Constitutional rights. The man who allegedly killed a UCLA grad student.
Do you have
facing charges? TMZ reports the Los Angeles
you have 16? I'm reading the wrong one. You have 1670 out of Dry Branch, Rick. That's a good one for Georgia as well in the expanded band. I'm not sure if you're just chasing the 1630 Augusta by itself for just the station, but if you're looking for Georgia up here, 1670 is another good one. There's KCJJ by themselves now on the northeast wire. Our friends up in the northeast have a shot at Montreal, I believe it is. Oh, it's Ottawa, never mind. It's Ottawa, CHYW up in Ottawa. Super weak. Just under 100 watts, but there's a shot for you in the northeast corner. An ID from KCJJ. Maybe not.
Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old is gone, the new is here. 2 Corinthians 5, verse 17. Hey, y'all, it's awesome at Cops Gun Shop. It is a new year at Cops Gun Shop, but the deals and quality you come to expect from us is still the same. While supplies last, we have limited Air Precision X15 and inbound loaders for $80 and $149 respectively. We've got all the other great products.
Okay, so we have a lot going on here already on 1640. We've got that first one you heard, Eagle 96.9, I think it was. That's Enid, Oklahoma, KZLS, which is one of the ones we've heard here. We also just heard a ID for Bob 106.3. That's our semi-local here in Biloxi, Gulfport, Mississippi, just up the coastline here from us, here from Mandeville. So, so there you go. So those are the two we've already heard here. Chasing after and hoping to hear WSJP in Wisconsin, in Sussex. They're a relevant radio station. I think I've gotten them once here, didn't I? No, I haven't yet. Nope, just Enid and Biloxi. So they'll be nice to see if I can add them this week. So there you go. Earl wants to know if we're allowed to count harmonics. Nah. It's got to be something that anybody has a chance to hear. Well, I mean, if you're hearing Mexico on 1620, no, it's gonna be licensed on that freak. Sorry. So yeah, 1640 we've got so far. We've got Oklahoma, we've got Mississippi. Let's see if we can get Wisconsin over here on the north-south wire here. There's Mississippi, yeah. That's kind of crazy. You're hearing a harmonic all the way up in Missouri from Mexico. That's kind of crazy. That's possibly Wisconsin there. Let me go back over to our we're going to have to get some time on 1640 here to see if we can pull Wisconsin out. Let's look at now 1650. Let's do that here on the Perseus. KFSW in Fort Smith, Arkansas, with gospel is one that's pretty commonly heard. We also, I think our dominant one we have here is what you're hearing right now, which is KCNZ out of Iowa, out of Cedar Falls. That's our dominant one that we have here. I'd like to get KBJD out of Denver. I'd like to get this Arizona station if we can. So we're going to be targeting those this week as well.
And a block punt inside the 10-yard line has just tied this game up at 7-7. Wow. All right, Chris, I'm sorry. Pass catchers, yes. Little depth along the defensive line, yes. But their quarterback is going to be Lamar Jackson going forward.
I also want to hear HKT out of Virginia, too. Dennis, I know that's one for you. I'd like to hear your folks.
So previous to that, I think I called to give Jimmy G the ball, give him another shot, have them kind of do on the way. Now you got number 2 minutes drill to win any game. I think that was probably a good call. But it might come down to special teams.
I've got a Spanish station here on 1650.
Special teams
hearing.
The 49ers made the extra
And
point.
the only thing I see here is Radio Santa Rosa in Peru.
Green Bay gets a field goal block at the end of the first half. Make it for the money in the bank. Great play.
There is never mind. Denver is Spanish religious, so that's possibly them as well. My bad. But if I'm going to pull them in, I need to swap over to the Elad FDMS3. And let's try that here and see if we have them on the Northwest wire.
If I take the field goal, I have to give it back to Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers just being able to play keep away for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that KBXZ looks like it. They're listed as 1 watt.
He tried to pass down the sidelines for Devontae Adams, which wasn't even close. Rodgers has had a pretty poor game, which is going to bring up the whole leg of Aaron Rodgers.
So yeah, we're not going to hear that Arizona station then from here. Not at 1 watt.
I know he's 19
Actually, it's less than that. I think that religious music right there is probably Arkansas. The cross.
Down the sideline.
There's Iowa.
Back on third down. Yeah, the crowd has quieted at Lambeau Field. All right, Cindy from Miami's up on CBS
Let's
Sports
switch
Radio.
it to the
Hey,
Northeast.
Cindy.
Even stronger
Hello
Iowa
there.
now.
How are you?
Well,
A little bit of
I am
Arkansas.
an ecstatic Bengals fan. I was in high school the last time they went to the playoffs, and
We've been checking 1660 already. We know what we've got there.
The Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. Republicans blocked both.
All right, 1670. Our dominant here is Dry Branch, Georgia, Black Information Network out of Atlanta. South Atlanta area, I guess.
Oklahoma businessman charged with murder.
That's not the official BIN for Atlanta, but
later
it's...
buried his black employee under a septic tank. The Black Information Network's Mike Island reports.
The Atlanta Black Star reported that Triplet had been out on a $500,000 bond last December 2021. The incident was believed to have happened about 3 months before Triplet's employee Brent Mack went missing. Triplet earned
there's
his
hardly
spot
anything
back in
here, is
custody
there?
recently when prosecutors said he was going into places that he was not allowed, including the bank, a restaurant, and a gas station. Triplet faces charges of first-degree murder and desecration of a corpse. I'm Mike Island on the Black Information Network.
The Senegalese government has banned the production and use of plastic bags in order
I
to protect
have
the
logged
environment. The decision
KHPY
was back in April.
in California
As yet to be
here
implemented,
previously.
But a Senegalese man named Modou Fall is lobbying for that.
Mike, I'm
effort, and
assuming
every
this
launch event.
off-frequency
Back in
one
November,
here.
during the country's marathon race, he decked himself out in
It's gotta
colorful
be
flags to warn residents about the dangers
that
of plastic.
Reynosa.
The New York Times reported that Senegal, with a population of 7 million, is projected to produce more than
Are you hearing that one down there in Reynosa? Right there at the border? Mike? Your listed offset is 035. I got him at 04. Yep, I'm seeing the exact same thing, Killer Cat.
Along with Andrea Coleman on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Black news all day, every day.
The power of information.
Damn it, Mike. Just kidding. Oh, it is about that time, isn't it, Bill? See, you're keeping me honest here. Let's get to it. Let's be about it. Yeah, I'm assuming this is Reynosa here. So we're going to stick with this here for a minute. Considering how far off frequency they are reported to being anyway, I'm guessing this is who this is. But we're going to stick with it for a few. I wonder if that Reynosa station's IDing at all. We'll find out. It sounds like their carrier frequency is drifting a little bit too. Yeah, it looks like there's a little drift over here happening. Now, over on the Elad, it looks pretty solid. You see it there. strong signal over on that southwest wire I have. And let's see what I have here on my southern. That's right on them.
According to Axios, the group of Hispanic leaders most suspected is apology, and all is better now.
As some sculpture considers the holy grail of folk art has been found after going missing for 90 years. The Black Information Network shows when shared this connection. The sculpture is known as Martha Mary. It's the word
Tender kiss.
We actually don't know for sure yet, Tom, on this one. I'm leaning towards possibly. If anyone wants to pull up the Brownsville SDR and do a comparison, it should be super loud there. It should be dominating the Brownsville SDR, the Kiwi SDR.
Some of our favorite star athletes have some smooth moves on the court, on the field, the track, the ice, but they also have some smooth moves in the kitchen with some of their smoothie recipes. Take
If I go my northeast wire, it's all dry
with
brands.
US Weekly. She's got
It's
a
all
tennis
Georgia.
game for sure, and you may wonder how she keeps moving on the court the way she does.
Once I swap over to my southeast wire,
But she does some great work with what she puts in her diet too. Her pre-workout smoothie mix gives her extra electrolytes for hydration.
it was Mexico,
with blueberries, strawberries,
but now
bananas.
it's pretty strong on dry branch. Let's go back over to our north-south.
She swaps out the berries for green vegetables, protein powder,
Over here on the Perseus.
apples, pineapples, lemon, and ginger. Now, only a tennis player like Naomi Osaka.
Isn't that the yeah, that's the Eric Clapton Tears in Heaven there. So that's going to take them past top of the hour. All right, we're going to come back to this one. Let's go to 1680.
For a neighbor, it is indeed one of the things that we recommend that you do. A guaranteed way of doing so is through Jamaica National. If you're thinking of sending money to Jamaica and other parts of the Caribbean, make sure that you
It's got to be
check
OKB,
Jamaica
right?
National time, courtesy of Jamaica National. We're going to make that 11 inside the night. I grew up watching my mother work. Nothing short of a miracle.
Yeah, I'm on my southeast wire. That's got to be Winter Garden.
So when she got sick, we knew what we had to do. If it didn't work, it took time.
They're also there on the northeast. KRJO is kind of here, believe it or not.
decided to stop in there. My child, God bless me soul. Me was so glad it's Friday and payday. Because what? Me da in a big troubles, missus. Me buy reggae soak and some oldies, but then Mrs. Me mosey on over to the grocery section. Child, the price is low, you see? Them definitely have low prices. And then me look up on the menu. Never know what to order. The kind gentleman say, lady, you could have a little of each thing you need. Have a combination place for there. Sarah, me dear, me had a 4 combinations, so guess what? Me go on with oxtail, jerk chicken, roast two fish, stew beans, curry goat, and cow foot, you know. When me was checking out, me dear, rum and raisin, grape nut ice cream, jump out and tear me down. Me said, could I have 2 quarts to go, please? While me having dinner, me could watch an Oliver video. Yes, me buy an Oliver video too, you know. Child, let me tell you, go down there right now. Caribbean One Stop, 2117 with Colonel Drive in the Magic Mall Plaza. Or call them right now, 423-7552. 423-7552. Caribbean One Stop.
Let's go! If you want that flavor feeling, the place for you is so appealing. Tropical rhythms, it's the real deal. Vitamin C and it's from the Caribbean. New shape, same great taste. Tropical rhythms are done. Just one sip will make you feel great. Great. Let's celebrate!
There's RJO. So that's 1680 on the Elad. Let's go over here on the Perseus. Badoop and badoop.
Caribbean One Stop, home of delicious Caribbean food. Yes, tasty, delicious soup. Not feeling like soup? Try the brown stew chicken, curry chicken, curry.
There's RJO ID.
Jerk chicken. Have a brown stew red snapper, excavate red snapper. Oh, a roti lover, are you? Yes, chicken roti, goat roti, veggie roti. Oh, yes,
We've heard so many stations already here in the expanded band.
There's always a lean, mean veggie plate just for you. Right there, check out their over-the-counter pharmaceuticals wide selection. Hard to find West Indian groceries, pastries, West Indian ice cream, and yes, don't forget the music department. All CDs played in Caribbean Affair Connection Gospel Show available for you at Caribbean One Stop. Open 7 days a week, catering for all occasions.
Another one of these commercials.
Caribbean One Stop, 407-423-7552. Caribbean One Stop.
All right, welcome back. Just like to remind you that all the commercials that are played on the station, whether this program or any other program, it is of paramount importance that you support these commercials. Just don't listen to them. I know some of us are guilty whenever commercials are being played. That's when we go and study oxtail or whatever, or noisy restroom. It is important. Without these commercials, there won't be any program. These are what fund the program. So make sure that you listen to, share the information, and if at all you can use the services, please do so. Let us protect what is ours. You really don't know what you haven't to use. So make sure that's a better
It's at 1690 now. Nothing here in Central South America. There is Virgin Islands here, the IGT. The station with the Jamaican accent was WOKB in Winter Garden, and then the other station in there was KRJO with the country music playing Really Got a Hold on Me. That's Monroe, Louisiana. We're talking about 1680. $16.90 has a little bit more. We've heard
for Colorado here, for Avondale, Georgia, for Chicago, Berwyn, Illinois. And really, that's it. There's not a lot of other stuff there from what kind of I have in my reach. Maybe I can get KFSG here in Roseville. I kind of doubt it, but maybe. I'd like to get this Maryland station, though, in Lexington Park. That's high on my list because that'd be a new state here in Louisiana. I'd like to get Ontario in there as well. That'd be nice. Yeah, same here, Rick. It's either them or this Avondale. Not sure who that is there with the talk. If that's Avondale or if that's Berwyn. Now we're going to pop...
ladies and gentlemen. That was President Biden yesterday saying that he believes, and he doubled down on this.
I'm guessing that's probably Avondale Estates is my guess, though. Let's try the Elad FDMS 3 now on 1690.
This is what he's been saying all along.
That's on the Northwest wire here.
But Joe Biden goes out there and says the exact same thing, and people do nothing.
And there's the Northeast wire. I need one more vactrol. One more. Anybody know who that is with the music in the background there?
The comments that you just made about the election. How about basically inviting people to have some minor...
That guitar-sounding music?
Into the Ukraine.
Dennis, I'm looking at you. Dennis, I'm looking at you to know if that's PTX in Lexington Park. I kind of doubt it, but this little jazzy-sounding guitar music that I'm hearing in here, I'm on the Northeast wire. That would make me very happy. I'm guessing it's Chicago, though.
Weapons being fired. They tell me that drones are being used to drop bombs on enemies over there. This is what's going on because the cartels control the border instead of our border patrol because of the Biden policies and Mayorkas' policies. It's a national security threat. It is an invasion. And gosh, these guys, for those reasons alone, those guys should be.
My guess, Bill, is that's probably Reynosa doing the testing.
He would have been impeached last night.
My guess.
We would be talking about a trial today. But even still, though, I am somewhat surprised and encouraged that
It'd be a good one to run up against the Brownsville Kiwi SDR to see if you're hearing the same thing they are, because if that is the Reynosa station, Reynosa should be loud on that Kiwi SDR out of Brownsville.
You know, in the shins because they've been kicked in the shins because
back to regular programming here.
For Biden, and so they're losing viewership, and so they're taking the ratings. And that's
I don't think Reynosa has a stream of the station itself, but that Brownsville Kiwi SDR, that's.
They can't keep apologizing. I mean, if Trump would have said what you played on the election integrity for 2022, if Trump would say that.
Some folks have been using that to run up against what they're hearing from
They call it the big lie. They continue to arrest anybody who questions 2020. And it leads to a big question here.
Yeah, if anybody's got ears on this kind of jazzy sounding music I've got here on 1690
Why do you need two bills that national
in your area?
Elections.
I'm guessing it's VON out of the Chicago area, but
And they're inconsistent. It's all about control power. It always has been about that with these guys, and that's what they want.
On the Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line, our good friend Congressman Andy Biggs from Arizona. Congressman, what are you hearing from Democrats up on Capitol Hill in response to this press conference last night?
Nobody wants to talk about it. Just to be honest with you, I think that they're...
CHTO, that'd be nice. I'd love to add Ontario.
I read a couple of things.
By the way, I just had a thought. We need to start looking at, from the CPC standpoint, maybe looking at some of these stations in the expanded band for a DX test. Maybe some of those like in Wyoming and California and other places that are highly sought after.
If they're outside of D.C., as if they're not part of the Biden regime, they're not part of the Pelosi regime. It's going to be hard for them to do because most of them vote with Pelosi 95 to 100% of the time. And Pelosi's advocating for and doing the most radical parts of the Biden agenda. But they do want to distance themselves. I guess that's the message. Democrats won't pay for this stuff to pass by people.
Fantastic performance. Just left us, unfortunately. November 1st, 2021. He was going for a hard time.
Absolutely right. Kamala can't go with him because she's going down to Honduras to find out the climate change is the root cause problem. And she's going to try to build up the Honduran economy, the Honduran border, the Honduran crime rates, to lower everything down in Honduras rather than the United States. And if I was Honduras, I'd be scared to death that Kamala Harris was going to come in and try to help us.
Congressman, I want to switch gears here. I was so proud of the Republicans in the Senate last night. They stood their ground, and my hat is off to Mitch McConnell. I thought he did a terrific job. Also, Joe Manchin and Senator Sinema standing toe-to-toe against their own party. And I have to imagine that the vitriol directed at them has been horrifying. But they all stood their ground, and we won the day.
We did, and kudos to McConnell. He kept everybody in line, and then also special kudos to Senator Manchin, and they are just blistering them. The Democrats and the left are blistering those two and going after them in ways that I haven't seen. We don't do that on Cheney and Kinzinger. We can't get our leaders to even remove them from committees or out of our conference.
That's a good point.
And yet the Democrats are going after them like crazy. And I will tell you, Sinema's going to hold strong. She's going to hold strong.
Looking to the midterms and then beyond, there's been a lot of scuttlebutt in the media playing up this alleged kerfuffle between Ron DeSantis and President
Which
Trump.
one are you getting there, Dennis, for CHTO? Is it that jazz music? Jazz guitar?
He doesn't know what's going on.
I'm trying to pull up the stream here.
I really don't know what's going on there. Look, there's two very strong leaders, and I really can't tell what's going on.
Well, no, I get it. I just, we've got to make sure that there are people behind the scenes that are saying, guys, we've got to get it together, because we do have to be unified. These parties followers are going to hide. We're not focused on the big names of this show. This guy is great.
We've got to be unified so we can keep our base, and then we need to be unified because that influences the independent voter that will decide the elections. And that's really, if we're disunited, if we're divided, we're not going to have the success that we should have.
That's a fair point. All right, Congressman, always good hearing from you.
Take care, Rick.
And by the
Nice
way,
to
we
see
would
you in
love
there
to
as
get
always. Good luck to you this week here on the expanded band. We're excited about what everybody can hear. This is gonna be a fun one, I think. Should be interesting. Already, it's been fun, right?
Thanks a lot, Congressman. Andy Biggs there, and folks, will be. I'm sure.
Yeah. I can't get the stream to pull up. So, okay. So we've looked at it here. We've looked at the expanded band, pretty much the entire thing. There's a couple that we can probably get on 1700 if we can null out our local TIS station here, but it's going to take some finagling. So with that being said, I think we're going to probably call it night two. Recap what we've done. We talked about offsets. We talked about how to look at those. We talked about our new CAS antenna. We got North Dakota in the log. We've done a big run through the expanded band here from 1610 to 1700 roughly, looking for kind of what our dominant stations are. We got a lot here we can log from Louisiana. Hopefully you guys do as well. Really excited to see what you guys get. So we have the link in the chat. I'll be putting it up on social media here in a bit. And also on our Twitter feed, which is twitter.com/DXCentral. We'll be putting it up there as well. Been a fun one on 550. Looking for, though, this expanded band is going to be a nice challenge to see what all we can add to it. There's only a handful of stations there. Maybe you get lucky and get something cool and new like we did with North Dakota tonight. That was super exciting. As always, thank you to everyone for jumping into the stream. Loved having you a part of it. Loved communicating here in the chat. This is a lot of fun. You guys make this so much fun. The challenges have been so well received. Everyone's really gotten behind them, and that means so much to me. We're not done. We've got more coming, more fun stuff coming, so you want to make sure you stay tuned for that. I got another one up my sleeve that I think you're going to like a lot. And then, of course, we're going to be doing a one with our splits for our international DXers who are not U.S.-based that want to get in and be able to do some stuff, and also for our folks along the coast that may be able to do trans-Pacific, transatlantic. Want to include you guys in here as well in the challenge and give you a chance to get some of those outside of the U.S. stations as well. So, you know, if that's not going to be a good week for you, no worries. We'll have a great week for you right after that, probably coming up. So just keep coming every week. 1945 Central, 145 UTC right here on Saturdays on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell icon. I got more air checks coming. We've got our updated CAS video coming. We've got our workshop walkthrough coming. I've got interviews coming. I got all kinds of stuff we're working on for DX Central. So make sure you stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter. If you keep up with us on our social media presence on the Facebook groups, I'll be posting stuff there as well. So take care, my friends. 73 Best of DX. Enjoy the expanded band this week. We'll see you next time right here on Saturday night at 7:45 Central, 1:45 UTC on YouTube for DX Central Live from our North Shore studios in Mandeville. Good night, 73 Best of DX.
This is DX Central Live.